Welcome back, everyone. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE, here at our NYSE CUBE studios. Of course, we have our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street. This is our Practitioner Series, where we talk to experts who have been in the field, challenged with challenges and opportunities ahead of them. AI is driving massive change. Ask Mehra's here. He is the founder of Mehra Capital Partners, but been a practitioner, senior positions, P&G and others. Welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you, John.
P&G. Procter and Gamble. That's correct. Large consumer products company.
That is right, yeah.
The number one.
Yeah.
R&D, marketing, product.
Beauty. Yeah, number one marketeer for sure. I think that was a big company.
So I have to ask you, as you look at the market, okay, and you look at the waves you've lived through.
Yeah.
Technology was a department.
Yes.
IT, hey, give me some servers, rack more on the server of the rack, desktops for the people, laptops, now iPhones. Now AI is in everyone's hands.
Right, yeah.
What is the biggest challenge you think that technology builders and operators are dealing with right now?
Yeah, I think if you think about, like, if you separate the people that are creating technology and AI and selling it from the people like Procter & Gamble or any other company that are using it, right? And you ask them, I think a vast majority of them would say, like, to the question, is AI material to your company? Is AI real? Is it impacting your P&L? I think the answer is no, it isn't at this point. There's great promise, there's great appeal, but this is almost universal. You know, talking to multiple companies that I have been talking to recently, and that's almost like a universal chorus. So some of the basic problems that were there have not really gone away. Mostly it's not about the technology, it's about the people, it's about the data, it's about the process and how you weave all of that. So neglecting the basics and getting enamored by the AI and by the technology is not really working. So I do think that you have to get your basics right, and then you can get on this journey. But that's for me the state of play.
You know, the consumer market and the IT enterprise market have always been separate things. Right. You know, consumer goods, CPG, consumer packaged goods, where P&G sits among other leaders doing things. But enterprise IT and technology is in every company. Yeah. P&G in particular, I follow them, leader in advertising, leader in data analytics. I mean, they're data oriented, you know that. Great products. Yeah. And with this AI, physical AI focus, agents are hot right now, but another hot area is physical AI. That's manufacturing. Right. That's supply chain. Yeah. That's in-store. Yeah. But digital and AI, digital and physical worlds are coming together at a first-party relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
What's your thinking around this? Yeah. Do you agree?
Well, I do agree that physical AI is a really big opportunity. In fact, I was looking at some study that in the manufacturing space and the distribution space, if you look at physical AI, it can drive between 200 basis points and 700 basis points of productivity. And many companies are trying to move in that direction. I do think there's some breakthroughs needed in terms of the technology, but it's certainly an exciting space. But you know, your first question was, right, really how's the role of the CIO changing? And I think P&G is one of the companies that has historically got that right, that it is about the infrastructure and making things work, but it's also about dialing up the capabilities that are really going to matter to the company. And that's really where the CIO should be focused on. Whether it's physical AI, whether it's agentic AI, whether it's driving productivity or the entire gamut. So how are you going to make the company more successful, I think, is important.
Okay, so if you were a CIO of P&G right now, how would you be thinking about directing capital for investment? Where would you throw that?
Yeah, so I would say, you know, there's a 3-point plan that I would advise CIOs. Firstly, it's a very, very complex time because you can just get completely distracted. There are brilliant capabilities and there's a lot of pressure from the board, and you could end up chasing your tails and doing things that are really, really good, but it's not really relevant or material to the company. So you'd have wasted your time and you'd have wasted everyone's time.
Time is money, right? Because it's so fast.
So for me, I think the first thing goes back a little bit. Don't neglect the basics. The basics are always true, are still true even today. And in fact,
what are those basics?
The basics is look at your people, look at your process, look at your data, look at the governance because if those aren't in order, you're not really going to be able to move ahead and make rapid progress. So keep an eye on the basics, because there is no substitute. AI may actually make it a little bit easier to manage some of those things, but basically get your basics right, get your governance right, make friends with your chief legal counsel, take her out for a beer or something like that, but really make sure that you have your governance processes, and you have your basics and that focus, whether it is governance of data, governance of technology, governance of AI, that's really job number one for me.
I would agree with you, and I would actually support that with data that I have, primary data. I talk to many companies, the ones that are successful with agents, for example, which is very cutting edge right now. Some are failing, some are winning. The ones that are winning have done the work in compliance, security, and identity. They've actually grinded it out. It's not like there's not magical elves doing the work. It's like they have to sit down and wire it up and like get it going.
See, and technology is an accelerator of both good or bad. So if your basic processes aren't good, it's going to make it 10 times worse.
10 times worse.
So that is, that was true, but now it is like even more critical, right? So
that sounds like my golf game.
Yeah.
The ball goes far, but if the club faces open, the ball's going to be out of bounds. I mean, this is what your point is. The impact of bad fundamentals.
Yeah, I've been told that when I hit the golf ball hard, it goes like a baseball. So I really need to work on
you hit the stinger shot.
So you have to get the basics right, and I think many companies are realizing that. So that's job number one. I think the second job is to really make AI real right now by having like one or two big hitters, which basically deliver like 50 to 100 basis points of margin. So like in Constellation Brands, we came up with a run to grow strategy, which was trying to do maintenance, but doing it much better, doing it with partners, doing it cheaper. So that would then free up the capital to invest, because nobody's
So flexibility is the key in capital allocation.
Yeah, so you want to create that capital, you want to create that fuel for growth, and you want to win the credibility, because you want your CFO to understand that you have skin in the game. You're going to look at your own budget and say, by the way, I can probably do this in like 60% if I take a 3-year look or so, right? So that was what Run to Grow. So, and now you have large companies, large like SIs that are willing to underwrite your benefits. So that's a great way of trying to make it real.
Guaranteeing it.
They're
backstop the risk.
Correct, and they will guarantee a certain savings, but they'll also use their balance sheet to make that happen. And there are some areas that change management is a little bit easier. Like if you think about application support or infrastructure support, or think about GBS, like the whole business process outsourcing space. Those areas are ones where you can actually get these big winners. You can have a large deal, like what is possible today wasn't possible like a year ago in terms of how attractive these deals are. And then you
can put the wood behind the arrow on a demonstrable, a high ROI. That's smart risk taking, basically. Because the risk reward ratio is the kicker.
And then you won't be in these very frustrating discussions about like, tell me exactly how this is benefiting the P&L. I mean, everybody would see that.
No, there's no doubting, doubts. You kind of proved it.
So that for me is
justifying it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like the second thing, right? And then the third thing, which is really where the magic happens. And I think we talked about some of those examples. It's really figuring out what makes the company that you're working at special, right? And trying to think about how you can make AI, how you can use AI to make that thing that's special better. And again, many companies do that. P&G does that very well. Like really have an understanding of what is really core to your company.
Core DNA.
Yeah, what's your core DNA?
Not get distracted.
And then use. Now you can actually make your moat wider. So it could be, for example, some of the pharmaceutical companies are trying to make their innovation cycle 50% faster. Consumer companies are in the same. If you can take an 18-month ideas to market and you can convert that to 9 months, that's a really, really big win. But you can also make your ideas better. You can make your AI better. AI can make your ideas better. So in all kinds of ways. Like you don't have the time to research everything that's out there, but you could use AI to say, what are some of the demand spaces that are ripe, and what type of innovation, whether it's a new, ready-to-drink beer variant that you want to launch, what will really appeal to the market, where is there some space for you to launch your product, and how can you launch that fast, right? So basically looking at
there are workflows that are really perfect for AI, but not AI just making things up for the human. The human would say, here's what I want to do. I want to launch an American beer in Australia. I'm making this up. And they could just help me prepare the campaign. And then I can do testing quickly.
Well, you know, one of the things we did is we used AI to look at all of the websites that Constellation Brands had, and then we got the leadership team to be asking questions of the AI about what the next 5 big innovations were. And you could see the CEO basically look at the data and say, wow, I never thought of that, right? So that's where, like, even the ideas, you could get ideas that you wouldn't have thought of before. So that's where AI could do things that, you know, probably humans could not.
So I'm looking at your bio, founder of Mehra Capital Partners. So it looks like you're going to go off and do some investing.
Yeah, I have started.
So will you take that lens of CPG?
Yeah. So
or what's your what's your thinking around your next journey?
Yeah. So I think it's a very exciting time to help. Firstly, the CPGs and other big companies thread their AI strategy, but then also help the startups basically navigate this very fast-changing world. So that's what I've been focusing on in the last 10 months. I decided to join the advisory board of 7 startups that are my curated startups. These are my bets. I'm also on the advisory board of 2 VCs, but I'm doing consulting.
So you picked these startups?
Well, yeah, I think we had to pick each other. A lot of startups came to me because they wanted to hear what I had to think, but there were some that
domain expertise.
Yeah, it was domain expertise and like how does the CPG world, how can we make our pitch better? You know, what type of a product roadmap would help? So those were the 7 startups and
the VCs are?
The VCs, one is Stripes and the other is Cyberstarts. So I'm you know, working with them, both great companies.
What are you learning from the startups and the VCs? You're getting primary data. What's going through the filter? What's your observations? How's that affecting your trajectory?
I think speed to value, like really making sure that AI can create tangible values for companies. I think that's really where I think the puck is and where the puck is going to also. So one of my startups is called Axiomatic. They just finished a 54 million raise. And what Axiomatic does is it creates superhuman project leaders for large transformations. So imagine you have a SAP RISE upgrade that costs $500 million. They could take 30% of that cost out because, you know, imagine a human that has done 20 SAP RISE implementations, but remembers every one of them, remembers what's gone wrong, knows everything about your own implementation, knows every one of your hundreds of stakeholders. If you have that type of power, you know, you could do a much better job. So it is really how do you make AI real? The models will keep getting better and better, but having a direct line of sight into
it's memory.
Driving
it's like
value.
A human. It's like a superhuman.
Absolutely. And like a lot is like how do you really build those knowledge fabrics or you know, knowledge graphs on which the LLMs can work and give you like really important answers as well.
So AI accelerates all transformation, all projects. Scales intellect for humans.
Right, yeah.
Scales good data foundations.
Yes, absolutely.
So everything's accelerating.
And for good and for the bad. So you got to make sure in the right trajectory and get the basics right. You know, deliver the couple wins and then really try and make your company better.
Remember the old expression, garbage in, garbage out? That's like a programming concept. Now it's you scale good or bad. It's a scaling machine.
It's garbage in, garbage out, 100 times faster.
Yeah, bigger. Yeah. More impact.
Correct, absolutely.
So, Ash, thank you so much, and we'll keep in touch, and congratulations on your new trajectory and venture opportunity being an investor. With your domain expertise, consumer packaged goods will be a major transformation area as physical and digital worlds come together. We're still going to buy stuff, we're still going to consume. All workflows are impacted. You have the keys to the kingdom. You've seen everything.
Thank you, it was a real pleasure to be here.
Appreciate it, thank you. I'm John Furrier here in theCUBE. Again, all industries are impacted by AI. The acceleration of value creation is going to come in the form of fundamentals, first principles, doing the work and getting things right, getting back to basics. And then once you get that, scale's beautiful. It's called the foundation. We're doing our part here in theCUBE to bring that foundation of data to you. Thanks for watching.